feel like there's some metal involved on this one, and this one's plastic that I'm throwing on the floor. I'll pick that up. Hey everyone, I'm Dan.
And I'm Eddie.
And we're the Deathless Dogs. Today we're going to be drinking two offerings from the Bardstown Bourbon Company, being the Fusion and the Discovery, both Batch 4. Batch 4 was the first of the Bardstowns that made it to our area. And I guess 5 is hitting stores right now too.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, so we're excited to get into this. I've tried this one. You have too, obviously. The Discovery will be a voyage of discovery for both of us today. These two are kind of their like flagship offerings, I think. And then they have these offshoots of like the Prisoner Barrel and
I've
all
seen
these
that
other
one.
things.
Gray label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different finishes and different stuff like that.
I believe the Fusion series is the most readily available.
I picked this one up when we went down to Stark's for something else. And I just saw, there was the Bardstowns on the shelf, and there was a red label there. I was like, oh, okay. So I snapped that up instantly.
And you paid for it, though. Do you mind sharing?
I paid $115.99, which is about right. That might even be a little lower than a lot of people are paying for this. Do you remember what you paid on the blue?
I was seeing that typical MSRP for the Fusion was around $55. I think I got this for $50, though.
Might have been a new to Wisconsin sale we had going on here.
Kind of like Kohl's.
Trying to push
always sales.
Back to school. There are two different series doing similar but different kind of things, where they're blending different mash bills of bourbon to create these two bottles.
Their distillery produces 40 unique mash bills.
The Discovery has no Bardstown distillate in it. This one has that 13-year Kentucky along with a blend of 3 of theirs.
That are younger.
Yes.
Many of which I think are high rye, if I'm not mistaken.
What I really appreciate about Bardstown is there's writing on this bottle that tells you kind of shit you want to know.
Yeah.
It's not talking about like, whoa, on a cold and stormy day, this man invented, no, this is giving you cold, hard facts on what is in these bottles.
As well as a pretty nifty etching of corn.
Nifty corn etch. Oh yeah, it shines in the light there. You've got science etch.
Yes, that's genetics or something. Corn etch is a little cooler, to be honest, but
It feels like corn.
Give
that a scratch. That feels like corn.
Oh yeah. We're going to give you the rundown of the Fusion Series number 4 blend. Right?
What went into the sausage?
What went into it?
The Discovery, it's a blend of 3 Kentucky bourbons. They don't tell you on the side exactly where they source from. They're just saying Kentucky. 55% of this blend comes from Kentucky. 13-year-old bourbon. A mash bill of 74% corn, 18% rye, and 8% malted barley.
They're probably using the same source for both.
That's the Barton. Because that matches up with your 13-year. 37% of this is a 15-year-old bourbon. Not confirmed, but the prevailing opinion online is that that's Jim Beam. That's a 15-year Jim Beam. And your final 8% was 10-year-old, and that is likely Wild Turkey.
Cool.
So our youngest whiskey in this bottle is 10 years old, and it's the lowest percent of all of them.
Preliminary pop.
Give it the pull. That's still a respectable pop. We are, indeed. Woo! That was a good one, too. And you saw the
mist.
The effervescence.
Mystifying. And actually, that's a real cork.
That's metal, too. Feel that.
Oh, there's a big difference between the Discovery series and the Fusion. See, just slap that on the table like a pog.
This is the metal slammer.
Yeah.
And that's one of the plastic ones that came with your pog.
So I suppose we want to start with the Fusion because it most clearly is the weaker of the two.
And yeah, we've had it before, so we might as well. Nice nose, though.
I'm getting like a lot of berry notes, and I think that's the thing that I've always kind of picked up is like a mixed berry type of situation. Raspberries, blackberries.
I'm going mixed berry, like Bubblicious.
You're going like gum? Because
there's
I was
a
almost
bubble
going
gummy
like
thing.
Fresh in a way.
There's a bubblegummy thing happening. That was the first thing I smelled was bubblegum. And then the fruit backed it up. But like you said, yeah, mixed berry.
And there is a bit of an herbal nature to this one as well. Maybe a little bit of that mint.
I'm going to say that we're not getting the notes they're telling us we're supposed to. They're calling it a complex bouquet of apricot, black cherry, and cinnamon. Meet the oak and smoke of a 13-year-old Kentucky.
I don't know about oak and smoke.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of sweetness, really.
Sweetness and berries, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say black cherry, because that falls into that darker fruit berries kind of thing.
All right, well, let's get into this and clink them and drink them.
I'm almost grabbing like a coffee thing. That,
like a latte thing or something?
yeah, like that bitterness, it tinged toward a coffee beverage of some sort.
I'm still getting some of those fruit notes, but it does kind of finish with maybe like a roasted, toasted coffee bean.
Chocolate-covered coffee beans.
I could see
or
that.
something like that.
I could see that.
I'm not finding a ton of fruit yet. My palate is really honed in on that coffee thing. They're saying rich maple and toffee coat the palate, leading to a lasting hazelnut finish. Okay, hazelnut, maybe like Nutella.
In a way, this kind of reminds me of some of those double-oaked bourbons that we've had in the past. You know, it kind of has a little bit of that coffee thing, a little bit of that, like, creaminess, but it's, like, not as thick of a mouthfeel.
There is that youthful corn trying to peek through.
So you're getting, like, a butteriness?
I mean, it's corn. It's that youthful corn, popcorny thing, but very slight. I think they've blended it really well. Plays in nicely rather than being this awful overriding note.
There is a bit of spiciness. There's a lingering hug, I think. Even as I'm talking now, like, it's still there, kind of, you know?
Yeah, it's hanging out. Yeah, decent amount of heat for being under 100 proof. Unlike some in that 90 range where it's kind of there and gone. This is actually hanging out. There seems to be that extra hit of oak at the end, and I'm sure that's the 13-year. A solid bourbon. I enjoy it.
Would you consider this $50 well spent?
I guess that's kind of the kicker, right? I would buy another one. I do like it quite a bit.
You would try like a different series.
Sure. I mean, after this, yeah, that $50 price, 50 to 55, it's a little steep. That's payday purchase. That's not, I think anytime you get out of the 40s, that's when you got to go like, you start thinking about it a little bit. But I enjoy it enough that I would buy another one.
Why don't we get a nose on the Discovery? I'm excited about that one more so than the Fusion. Wow, that nose is way fainter than I thought it would be. Just being honest with you.
Yeah.
That's a familiar note, though.
Right.
And I like that. You know what I think this is? And it hit me quick. Like, it took a couple sniffs, and I was like, all right, root beer float, here we go. It's got a little bit of that spiciness, but, like, kind of that vanilla blending in with some herbs and spices and goodness.
I could get on board with that. I'm getting a lot of wood, though, too. I'll say it's a dark smell. You know what I mean? Like, I think root beer plays into that, too. It's not cream soda, it's root beer.
Yeah.
Do you know that other countries don't like root beer? It's like an American thing.
Why don't you like root beer?
Like, I've seen so many videos of people from other countries drinking root beer and being like, what the fuck is this?
People drink this.
I think it's just like this weird American thing that we all love and other countries think is like insane. I think we should just jump in on the taste.
Dan and I are ready to discover. Let's do this thing. Clink 'em and drink 'em.
Oh.
That's nice.
I think it's sitting at a perfect proof. You're sitting in that 1920 rare breed area of those mid-teens over 100.
It's reminiscent of the Fusion series, but I think it brings out and amps up the creaminess and those roasted notes.
I would say the baking spice, brown sugar combo, like deep, rich flavor on it. It's not the light and fruity. It's substantial, but at the same time not bitter. And that's pretty impressive, being that all of these are 10 years or older.
In a way, it's very caramel forward with a little bit of vanilla. A lot of those traditional bourbon notes are showcased in this.
That last sip, I was getting like a very amped up 1792 thing.
I could see that.
Because a good percentage of this, it's Barton. And then the Beam, there's a little bit of that nuttiness. Like,
I think that's where the bitterness comes in. There is like on the back end, some slight nuttiness, at the very tail end.
The tasting notes in the neck tag that I just looked at. Lively bursts of fruit and spice evolve into an enduring balanced finish. Enduring balanced finish, I think, really is like right on the money. Of all the notes on these things so far, that's the one that's like, yep.
If you go back and side by side them, the Fusion series comes off a little weak.
Oh, it's definitely weaker. I mean, just on proof alone.
It's not bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, at $50, you're getting what you pay for in a way.
I just went back to the Discovery and I got like dark fruit jam.
Like, you're talking like Concord grape, or are you going like...
It almost leaned grapey, but maybe more of a blackberry jam kind of thing.
I could see it.
Dark fruit preserve. It's not Smucker's. Like, it's like real macerated fruit.
Yeah, that kind where you like scoop it up with the butter knife and it kind of like gets stuck on the knife, then you got to kind of like slosh it off on the bread.
It leaves a trail in the jar where you removed it from. It's, you know,
I get you.
Wow, yeah, that's very good.
Discovery series is amazing.
One of, if not the best bourbon I've tasted in 2021 so far.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say it's worth the price of admission.
Absolutely.
Which means, obviously, we would both buy it again.
Yeah.
Dan's favorite pick of 2021 thus far. We're 6 months in, so we have 6 months to do better. I'm up to the challenge of trying.
I'm not going to get mad at something for being better than that, because that is fantastic.
Have you had either the Discovery Series 4 or Fusion Series 4, or any of the different Bardstown releases? 5 is supposedly dropping...
As
nowish.
we speak,
yeah. So, have you had that one yet? Please let us know what you think.
If you haven't yet, hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel. We'll be here again next week, drinking something else. Hopefully can get even close to being as good as that, and I'll be a very happy person.
Absolutely. From the Western Wisconsin Whiskey Emporium for ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
I just bought a pack of Fig Newtons for the first time in like 20 years probably today.
What, did you just go original Fig Newtons?
Fig.
Or okay, because sometimes those raspberry ones are pretty treating.
I was known to like an Apple Newton as a kid.
Apple Newton, is that a green kind of apple?
Probably. I don't remember. It was just apple goo.